Hi, this is Steve from Money Plan SOS, and this is a quick video about the math behind whole life and term life insurance policies. Now, whole life and term life, there's an argument for both, but I'm going to talk about the math behind why I think term is a better policy for anyone who's young and just starting out. Maybe someone who doesn't have a whole lot of assets they have to worry about, and it's just, let me explain to you. This is the math behind it. Now, this is whole life. We're just going to use a 30-year-old healthy male who is going for a $250,000 whole life policy, which means if he dies, his spouse or his children or both get $250,000. So at age 30, he buys this. What he does is he spends $178 a month towards this policy, $178 a month. In about 20 years, he's going to spend, get this, $42,000. That's going to cost $42,000 over that 20-year period to maintain this $250,000 life insurance policy. Now, inside of a whole life policy, there's something called a savings buildup. It's a savings aspect of it. Now, in the first couple of years, it doesn't build up anything. It's all gone to fees. But after a little while, then it starts to grow, and it turns into about $34,000. So after 20 years, it grows to about $34,000. You probably can't see that. Trust me, it says $34,000. So you've spent $42,000, but you have a cash value of $34,000 in this plan after 20 years. But are you going to cancel it? If you cancel it, you don't get the $250,000 in case you croak after age 50. So you're probably going to keep going. So you keep going, you keep spending $178 a month. After 40 years, you have spent $84,000. You've spent $84,000 to maintain this policy. Now, here's the good thing about the whole life policies on average, and that's what we're looking at. It's happening today. That savings does grow a little bit, and it grows up to be about $124,000. The cash value turns into about $124,000, so about half of the face value of that policy. You're at age 70. You want to cash out, or you want to maintain the policy? If you do, you continue spending $178 a month, and that's what happens. Now, over here in the term life, no, come here, come on, this is important. I know we're talking insurance, but you need to listen to this. Okay, on the term life insurance policies, this is what's really amazing. Term life doesn't have a cash value buildup, so you're not paying extra for that. So when you buy term life, like let's just say a 20-year, because we're comparing apples to apples, it's going to cost you, over the life of that policy, $3,120 total. That's it. That's all it's going to cost you. $3,120 for 20-year level term. Now, again, there's no savings built up into that. So you've got to come into it with a long-term financial planning mindset. But that's pretty easy, because there's a bunch of things you're going to want to do when you're planning for your future. At 30, you might have a kid, or you're about to think about having a kid, maybe you're just getting married. But here's the things you're thinking about when you're 30. I'm going to get rid of my debt, so we're going to get rid of that. I have a 15-year mortgage on a house. 15 years is what we recommend, 15 years. Well, in 20 years, guess what? That's going to be gone. And your kids are probably, if they haven't completely grown up, graduated from school, you had a big old graduation party, they're probably grown and gone. So after 20 years, you may not need life insurance. But okay, let's just go on with this thing, comparing apples to apples. So let's say 20 years, you only spent $3,000, you've had all your extra money to do that, but when you're doing either whole life or term life, you need to be saving for your future anyway. With whole life, you're spending $178 a month. With term life, you're spending $13 a month for this policy. For a healthy 30-year-old right now, 20-year level term. That's amazing, $13 a month. So if you took the difference between 178 you're spending over here and 13, since you're going to spend it over there anyway, why not buy this and invest the $165? If you just put it into a boring savings account, and we'll just say it's not making any interest, after that 20 years, you have $39,000. $39,000, that's actually more than what you had in the whole life policy after 20 years. But let's say you invested that. Instead of just saving it, you invested it. Well, after 20 years, you'll end up with $75,000 at 10%. 10% is a reasonable rate. $75,000 though, not enough. If you happen to die at age 51 with no coverage, that's not enough. But you're probably doing some other savings and investing anyway. That's just the $165. And if you make it to the age 50, the chances of you making it to age 70 are greatly improved. Just think about it. If you make it to age 50, your chances of making it to 70 or older have greatly improved. So you continue after this term expired. Now you take the whole $178 that you would have been spending on the whole life and instead keep investing it. Keep going, and guess what it turns into after 40 years? $1 million. $1 million at 10%. Just 10%. $1 million. Long-term financial planning. 20-year level term, $3,000 for the full 20 years. Keep investing and saving, knocking out your debt, paying off your house. I mean, you can save a lot more than $165 a month than that. Over here, you spent $84,000 to get coverage for $124,000 in savings after 40 years. That's not a very good rate of return. So again, whole life might fit some people's situations, but for the most part, if you're young and starting out, term life is a great deal, at least to get started. $13 a month for $250,000 in coverage, that's nothing. And that's going to allow you to do a lot more things with your money, like pay off debt, pay off the house, get the kids grown up and gone, start to save and invest, whereas this is eating up $178 a month, and you're only getting the face value if you die or a crummy savings account. This is Steve Stewart. If you want to hear more about this specific topic, listen to my podcast at moneyplansos.com/72. That's moneyplansos.com/72, the number. And you'll be able to learn a little bit more. Thanks for watching.